Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 762. My name is Scott Volker, and I'm here to help you build a future-proof business so you can create the ultimate freedom. But, and there's always a but, you have to take what you learn from this podcast and put it into action. You need to take action, and you can become the amazing seller of your life. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do this. All right, well, we're going to pick up today where we left off in this series. This is part 5 of our 6-part series for brand building. And today we are going to be diving into and really deep into email list building 101. I'm going to give you everything you need to know about list building and really how to set this stuff up and put it into action. All right, so this is part 5 of our 6-part brand building series. If you have not gone through the other sessions that I've already done in this podcast series, make sure that you do, because everything really builds upon itself. So make sure that you do that. All right. So let's just do a quick little recap before we dive into today's content. All right. Part 1 in this series, we identified our market and validated that it has potential for growth in traffic and income. Now, part of that is in this validation process is making sure that we can build a list. All right. So if you're at this point and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I don't think I can build a list. Well, we didn't do something right in the validation process, or you skipped that part. Don't skip that part. Here's what I'd like you to do if you did skip that part, or if you need a refresher. Go to brandcreators.com, download and go through the training there. Okay. I have a checklist there, a brand growth validation checklist. You can download. It's about 5 pages, and you can print it out and then write in it, and then go through the training. I have a couple of videos there. One of them will actually take you through that validation process. So make sure that you do that. All right. Part 2 was after we pass the initial validation, we are then creating our home base. We call this our home base. This is where everything is going to reside. That's where we're going to point everyone from all of these other traffic sources. We're going to point them over to our home base where we have full control. We have to pick a domain name. We have to get that set up. And then from there, we have to build out our website, which isn't that hard to do. But I took you through that exact process step by step in part 2. Part 3 is exploring and identifying a variety of pieces of content that are going to drive traffic, and not just any traffic, but the right traffic. We talk about filling our content buckets, and they are basically, there's 3 of them: questions, products, and how to. Everything, again, will make sense if you go through that and you really write all that stuff down. Okay. And then part 4 was creating the content and going through that process, even if you're not a content creator. Okay, going through that process and having other people do that for you, but then also learning how to do the posting and the optimization. So we're really putting out the content that's going to bring in traffic. All right. Now, today, like I said, this builds on everything that we've done so far. So now that we have some content that's created, and we're going to say, okay, well, how do we get more traffic to it? Well, if we have our own email list, guess what? We can send them to our content, to our website. We can send them to our YouTube channel if you have one of those, right? So it gives us the opportunities to really, really communicate with this audience on a regular basis, which you should be. And that leads to the next question that I get a lot. Scott, why would I want to build a list? And it's a great question. Here's the number one reason, okay? We want to stay in front of our market more than just when they are looking to buy. Let me say that again. We want to stay in front of our market more than just when they are looking to buy. All right. If you are starting on Amazon, which a lot of us have, right? It's all about the buyer, right? The buyer. But what about that buyer that's not ready to buy today or isn't searching today for that product, but is in your market? Let's get in front of those people on a yearly basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, right? And we can become front of mind. We can become that trusted resource. And through email, that's how we're able to do that. We're also able to then amplify our content. What does that mean? We can get eyeballs on our content way before Google even indexes us. All right. We can also then recommend affiliate products on our blog. We drive people over to a post that talks about 5 of the top products in our market or in our, sub niche or whatever. And then that there would be a maybe a comparison or a review that you did on all these products. That can lead to sales, whether that's your products or whether that's affiliate products. That can lead to sales by then you amplifying that piece of content. The other thing that it does is when you amplify that piece of content, when you get more eyeballs on it from your email list, it also drives up your traffic on the website. If you're running an ad network, now we haven't gotten into this stuff yet. We're going to get into this in session 6. The next session, we're going to talk about, okay, now this is all here. We've built all this stuff. How do we make money with it, right? And how do we do it on a regular basis? That's going to be in the next session. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. But right now, what we're doing is we're driving traffic over to our website. And when we do that, we have the opportunity for ad networks like Mediavine or AdThrive or even smaller networks. They're willing to pay us for impressions on our site from the right targeted people. All right. The other thing that we get to do with our email list is we get to do launches, right? We get to let them know about a launch coming up. We get to let them know about a promotion coming up, all of that stuff. All right. So that's what you want to understand about list building, and you should be excited about it. Okay. And if anyone is thinking, well, Scott, isn't email list building dead? And the answer is absolutely 100% no, it is not. And that's why you might hear people talking about Messenger and about, bots and all this stuff. And that's fine. But a lot of times those people are driving people over to an email list. That's what they're doing because they know that they'll control that. And, you don't have to worry about, something like a Messenger bot stopping or them taking it from you because it's on another channel. All right. So just keep that in mind. So if you're brand new to list building, this episode is going to be for you. But the other thing that I would highly recommend you doing, okay, is going through our free workshops, totally free. And what you can do is see the exact process of building this from scratch. The things that I'm going to be covering here today will also make more sense if you go through the live build. And I do that in a workshop with myself and Chris Schaefer. And you can find that by heading over to listbuildclass.com. Again, that's listbuildclass.com. All right. And that's a free workshop. And I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do there. All right. The other thing, before we jump into today's content, make sure that you go through that brand growth validation checklist. All right. And to get that, head over to brandcreators.com and you'll be able to get that. All right. So let's dig in, and I'm going to jump straight to it now that we got that stuff all out of the way. All right. Number one, we need to attract the right person, the right potential buyer. How do we do that? Well, the first thing that we need to think about is what's going to get their attention. We call this a lead magnet. And you'll hear this talked about in the industry of list building. It's been, kind of talked about for years now that I've been in this online business, but a lead magnet. Now think about that. You're putting something out there that's going to bring someone in that's qualified, right? That's a person that's in your target market, right? Now, people that are doing lead magnets that are just throwing out like, hey, win a free iPod and or an iPad or whatever, right? And they throw that out there and they get a whole bunch of emails, but they're selling fishing gear. That doesn't make sense. We don't want to do that. So what we want to do is we want to find the right lead magnet. And actually, we just went through this process live inside of Brand Creators Academy. And Chris Schaefer and I, we went and we brainstormed in front of the entire academy so they could watch us doing that. And really what I'm doing here today is going to show you exactly that brainstorming process as well. And what you really want to do is you want to come up with something that you know is going to attract the right person. All right. The right person in your market. So here's a few ways that we do it. We always generally start with a contest because it's the easiest way to get off the ground. We start with a contest. And the reason why is because we can take a physical product that people would look at that perceived value and go, wow, that's $100 value. I know that because I would have to go to Amazon to buy it for $100, right? Or a bundle that's worth $100 or $200. We're actually looking at $225 for this new lead magnet that we're doing inside of Brand Creators Academy as our case study. We're building a brand inside of there, an open case study so everyone gets to see it. And what we're doing here is we're just trying to find that thing, right? And so what we've done, and we found 3 products, and actually in the list building class, you'll actually see what we did here in another market. But right here, what we're doing is we're just trying to give them a thing that they would raise their hand for but it's got to be the right people. Now, we're going to talk about targeting here in a little bit, but I'm just trying to give you all of the parts and the pieces that it's going to take to make this all happen. So we have to start with what's going to get their attention. So the contest is a great one. The other things that work really well is checklists. Well, you might have heard me say brandcreators.com. There's a checklist there. And guess what? If you put your name and email address in, you're going to get that checklist. I'm also going to know that the people that are on that list are interested in building a brand. See how that works, right? Same thing with the PDF guide. You can do it with a PDF guide, right? You can do like 20 products you need in order to start woodworking, right? Like that there would be a great guide. Templates is another good one. I have someone in Brand Creators Academy that is offering templates, which I think is a great idea. And then DIY shopping lists. So if you do something that shows how to build something or how to fix something, you could give someone a shopping list they can print out and take it with them to the store. All right. So that's a great way. There's also like a recipe list that you could download. I've seen people do like if you're packing for the week or if you're a prepper, you're going to go and have all of these items on a DIY shopping list. So there's a ton of different ways you can do it. And think about yourself. What is something that you've put your name and email address in to receive this item? What has it been? And you'll probably start to get some ideas. But those are just some to think about. I like starting with the contest because it's easy and it does get a lot of attention. And then people are also wanting to share it, which will help us get more people to actually be aware of this contest and get more leads, right? Of qualified and quality, leads. All right. So that's number one. We need to think about the lead magnets. What I want you to do, again, I'm going to give you an exercise, is start going through your market and start thinking about what is stuff that they would want, that they would raise their hand for. All right. And make them qualify themselves by entering their name and email address. All right. So number two, we need an email autoresponder. Now, what is an email autoresponder? Well, to keep it really super simple, it's a way for you to collect emails in a tool, and then from there you can set up automatic messages that go out. Okay. Now these aren't like canned emails that you're just going to say, oh, I'm just going to send out what they have in their default, templates. You're going to actually write these. You're going to pre-write these. And then from there, they're going to get sent to anyone that opts in. We call that opting in when they put their name and email address in. And from there, they're going to get like the messages in a sequence. Okay. So again, if we're going to do a contest, the first email that they would get would be like, hey, thanks for signing up to win the ultimate woodworking kit or whatever. Right. And then from there, it's going to say maybe, in the meantime, if you haven't shared this with your friends, you should, because you'll get 3 extra entries for every person that you have signed up under you. And then there's a special link, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But there's ways there that we want to, number one, we want to let them know what they just did, and we want to let them know more about it. And then also that we'll be in touch. Okay. So that's like email number one. That's your autoresponder number one, which I'm going to give you some examples here in a minute. All right. So what do you use for an email autoresponder? We use ConvertKit. Okay. ConvertKit is great because it's easy. The deliverability is really good, but I've used Aweber for years. When I was first starting the photography business, we used Aweber. I still have my Aweber account, and it's a great, reliable system. MailChimp is another one out there. ActiveCampaign. Some of those are a little bit more advanced. You don't necessarily need that advanced of ones. ConvertKit is what I go with. Again, if you want to check out ConvertKit, you can always go through one of my links, my affiliate link for ConvertKit, because I do endorse them, theamazingseller.com/convert. And that'll take you over there. And yes, you will buy me a cup of coffee. So why is it called an autoresponder? Like I said, it's going to send out messages automatically, but you're going to schedule them. Now, the other thing that it does, it's called an autoresponder, but it also allows you to send out broadcast messages. And what that means is that if I want to write an email today and send it today to my entire list or even a small part of my list, I can do that. All right. So that's what you can do. Also, it's not just a autoresponder. They just call it that. All right. So that's what we can do with it as well. And we'll get a little bit more into that as we move through here, but I'm just trying to show you the building blocks here. So we have a lead magnet, we have an email autoresponder. Then from there, we need to create a capture page. This is like step 3 here. We need to create that capture page where the offer is going to exist. All right. Now, ConvertKit has its own basic hosted pages. So if you want to not even have a website, you can do this just by setting it up in ConvertKit. They have a page that will say whatever your brand name is, .convertkit, whatever, right? It'll be their site. It'll be hosted there. But you'll run it through their site. It won't be through yours. I don't recommend that, but it's an option. Okay. The next thing you can do is you can just create a basic website page on your website and then just create that as a freebie page or some type of giveaway page. You can do that. Okay. And then this way here, it's hosted on your own website. You can use Giveaway Boost, which is a tool that was created by myself and Chris Schaefer and Chris Guthrie. And we came up with this because it was a solution we were looking for. And really what it does is it builds those pages for you. So it builds your landing page, which is your contest page, which has a countdown timer. It has share features on the thank you pages and all of that stuff. It's all built in. It also gives a trackable link to the person that enters. It reminds them of different ways that they can enter and they can get more entries or they can share it. All of that stuff. That's Giveaway Boost, but that is used mainly for contests. There is another feature in Giveaway Boost that you can do also discount codes to start collecting emails, which we won't talk about right here in this part. But that's setting up the giveaway. All right. Giveaway Boost is what we use. And again, I'll include all of this stuff in the show notes to this episode. And also there will be a master list that I'm going to be putting together that will be given out to everyone that either goes to brandcreators.com and signs up. So if it's not there currently, it will be, or we'll email it to you. All right. So that's the differences. Okay. The other option you have is a platform called Lead Pages. Okay. I've used Lead Pages. I have a Lead Pages account. I don't use it all that much anymore, but I have used it in the past. Okay. But it's going to be good for collecting leads, but it's not necessarily set up for a contest. And then ClickFunnels, another landing page builder, drag and drop type thing, a little bit more expensive, but it will also allow you to grow with it. And this way here, you can build out other funnels when you're ready. But to keep it really simple, here's what I would do. Create that lead magnet, sign up for ConvertKit, and then I would grab Giveaway Boost. Not just because it's our plugin, but because it does exactly what we need it to do for this task. All right. And it gives us a lot of control over the contest. All right. Number 4 in this process is the thank you page. We touched on it a little bit in Giveaway Boost when I was talking about that, but what it will do is when someone enters their name and email address, they say, yes, I want to sign up to win this. What will happen is they'll get directed to a thank you page. It will reside on the same hosting, so it'll be fast. Once they go there, it'll say, thanks for entering the contest. You have 1 entry. Want more? And then it'll say, share it here, and you'll get 2 entries. Anyone that signs up using your magic link will get you'll get 3 entries for every person that enters, or something like that. You can set it up. You can change all these things, but that there is the option that they will land on, or the page that will give them options so they can share it. And let me just say that having that page is so critical because it allows people to share it instantly when they're excited. Now, the other thing we do is in the autoresponder is we follow up immediately. So the minute they enter their email address, there's an email being sent behind the scenes that when they open their email, they're going to see it and it's going to say contest details or something like that. And then from there, it's going to thank them and it's going to let them know a little bit about who you are and why you're running this contest. And then from there, it's going to say, here's a link to your referral page. And then what that'll do if you're using Giveaway Boost, it'll automatically send them to their page, which is really cool. All right. So that's the thank you page. Okay. And again, if you just want to keep it super, super, super simple, you can just use ConvertKit, build a landing page, and then build a thank you page, and you're done. It's just not going to be as effective for sharing features if you're doing a contest. All right. Number 5, and I talked about this before, was the follow-up message. Okay. You want to set this up to go out immediately. Okay, immediately after signing up, you want to remind them the things that I just mentioned, but that's like step number 5. And I'm kind of going through my steps here, so I got a little ahead of myself there before. So again, I'm going to recap quickly and then we're going to move on because there's a few more steps. Number 1, lead magnet type. figure that out. I would go with a contest. That's what we're doing right now as we speak. The time that I'm recording this, we're actually going through that in a live case study inside of Brand Creators Academy as we speak. Okay. Number 2, email autoresponder. Okay. Get that and get it set up. Number 3, create a capture page or decide what capture page software or tool you're going to use. Okay. I am going to use Giveaway Boost. And then number 4, we're going to use that platform to build a thank you page as well. All right. That will give them the options to share. Or if you're just sending them to something after they've already signed up for maybe the checklist, it might just say, hey, thanks, check your inbox. We just sent you the PDF. Something like that. A thank you page is also really good real estate to sell someone something immediately after they got something free as a light offer. Like, hey, thanks for downloading our ultimate fishing kit, whatever guide. We have a 30% off coupon for all of our subscribers or something like that. And then you can have a link with a code going over to your Amazon or your Shopify or whatever. It's a great place to make a slight offer there, just a really, really light offer. And then people are generally cool about that. All right. So that's number 4. That's your thank you page. Number 5 is the follow-up. Okay. You want to create that follow-up message in whatever email autoresponder you're using. And then we actually got 2 more. Step number 6 is you're going to need to create a Facebook page for the brand. And here's why. Not just because you're going to want to have a Facebook page because then you're going to get a whole bunch of likes and you're going to have a whole bunch of people coming to your page. Nah, I don't think that's the case. Like, I wouldn't set up a Facebook page just to set up a Facebook page because I want to get traffic. I'm setting it up because I need it for once I decide to do Facebook ads, which we're going to want to do because we're going to want to drive some traffic here, right? To this offer. All right. And that's what we're doing. Now, the other thing you can do on your Facebook page is repost your content. So the content that you're posting on your blog or your website, you're going to want to repost some of that, like just a little snippet from it and with an image, and then direct people over to your website or your blog where the content resides, or maybe YouTube, whatever, right? So here's the cool thing. As we are starting to run ads, and I'm not going to get into this yet, but once we start to run those Facebook ads over to our offer, it's hosted technically, or it's going through our Facebook page. We need a Facebook page in order to run an ad. We're going to naturally get some likes to that page. It's just going to happen. Every single time that we do this, we gain likes, and that's great. It doesn't mean that we're going to use that to sell a whole bunch of stuff, but it is good that we're getting another way for these people to actually be on a page that we control, that we could potentially get in front of. Just another way that we can get in front of those people. All right. So that's that, number 6. And then number 7 is I'm going to then create a broadcast message. Okay. And I'm going to start to send them to our site in the meantime before the contest ends. And I might slightly remind them a little bit about the contest. And I'm going to say, oh, by the way, here's this week's fishing tips, or here's this week's woodworking project that we're doing, something like that. Keep it short, but write something to them to start building the goodwill. All right. Let me give you an example of what this looks like. I just wrote out a really quick email just to show you it does not have to be hard. All right. So let me just read this email to you quick. And I wrote this super quick. Hey, Jim, it's Scott from woodworkingmasters.com. And I noticed you signed up to our ultimate woodworking tool giveaway. We are doing this giveaway to celebrate with our woodworking tribe, smiley face. I wanted to make sure you had your special referral link that will get you 3 more entries for everyone you refer to signing up. If you have any questions or just want to send me your best woodworking tip, that would be great too. Smiley face. I'll be in touch soon when we announce our winner. Happy woodworking, Scott. That's it, guys. That is it. And you can't see this because I'm reading it and you're listening to a podcast, but I am breaking up each one of those paragraphs, if you will, or sentences, right? So a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll write the email in one giant block of text. It doesn't look good. It's hard to read. It's not scannable. So literally what I'm doing here is I'm just breaking it up. So for example, it's Scott from woodworkingmasters.com. And I noticed you signed up to our ultimate woodworking tool giveaway. And then from there, I drop down a line and I go to another line. We are doing this giveaway to celebrate with our woodworking tribe, smiley face. drop down to the next line. I wanted to make sure you see what I'm doing there. I'm just breaking it up. Okay. And I know that our English teachers would not approve of this, but that's okay. People are consuming this and they want to be able to read it and not be like, oh my gosh, it's a wall of text. I know that's how I look at emails a lot of times when I'm reading them. All right. So let's talk about this next thing that I want you to think about. Okay. And I know that we're covering quite a bit. That's why you're going to want to go back and listen to this. You're also going to want to go back or refer to the list building training that I mentioned earlier. And again, you can find that by going to listbuildclass.com, listbuildclass.com. All right. And that's the workshop that I did there on how to set all this up. All right. So what we want to do is we want to create a weekly email schedule, and we want to, and this is a big one, stick to it. All right. We want to stick to a weekly email schedule. A great example of this is, well, if you're on my email list, then you know that every Friday I send out an email to everyone, and it's kind of like my Friday recap. Now that's a minimum of what I'm sending out, but I always send it out. I never skip a Friday. Now I might send out a Monday email and a Wednesday email too. I might send out one on Tuesday. I have the flexibility to do any of that stuff. Okay. But I'm always going to send out that one. Okay. So just make sure that you do that. Make sure that you stick to that. In our physical product brand, we're sending Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday without fail. Okay. That's our schedule. We've been doing that schedule for probably close to a year now. Okay. And then a little pro tip here is your content, okay, will be what your email will be about. A lot of people get hung up on like, Scott, what do I send them? Well, if you're creating content, which we talked about in, the session before this and the one before that, if we're doing that, we have things to send them. Now, if you don't have any content and you've built a list, or if you have some type of list, send them something. Send them to a resource that you found useful, or maybe it's a YouTube video, and just write a little email about it, right? That's it. You want to stay engaged with this list, all right? So let's talk about this one. I know exactly what you're probably thinking next. Scott, this is all great and everything, and when I get it set up, how do I get traffic to our lead magnet? It's a great question, and I've got the answer. So there's actually 3 different ways here, okay? Number 1 is we're going to post this on our website, okay? Now, you might not have any traffic right now, and that's okay. Then maybe you don't start by posting it on your website. But if you have a website with any type of traffic, put it on your website, okay? There's a tool out there called Hello Bar, easy to use. It'll put a little bar at the top of your website, or you can have a little light box that comes in. You can have something in the bottom corner. There's all little cool things that we can do here to let our visitors know that we have something going on that they would opt in for, okay? So a lead magnet on our website is critical when we start to get some traffic, okay? ConvertKit has some forms too that we can add to our website. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can do it, but make sure that that goes on the website. Number 2, post on any social media or share with friends to jumpstart this lead magnet giveaway, right? Or the attention to the lead magnet, okay? Like I said, maybe you have 400 or 500 people on Facebook that are following a page or part of a group. Post it. Right? All it takes, if you have a contest, here's how this works. If you're running a contest, if you're going to start with the contest lead magnet strategy, if you're going to do that, here's the deal. If one person enters their name and email address, and then they go to the thank you page, which they're automatically going to do, they have the ability to share that with people that they are in contact with. Maybe they're going to share that in another group or another Facebook community. Okay, or maybe their email list, or maybe on their Facebook profile. Who knows? But they want to get more entries. So they're incentivized to do it. So it only takes one, really, for them to open it up to 200, 500, 1,000 people. And I've seen this happen time and time again. Okay, so make sure that you do that. Okay, do not think, oh, I only have like 50 friends. Just post it. Let people know, right? It's only going to take one. I'm telling you, it's really powerful. The third way, and this is what we're doing right now, we've done this every time, but a lot of people are afraid of spending some money on Facebook ads, and they think it's hard. It doesn't have to be. And again, if you go through the listbuildclass.com, if you go through that training, you'll see a little bit of this, okay? But to keep it really, really simple, this is what it looks like, okay? Option number one is we are going to run that Facebook ad to the offer. We're going to target by interests, okay? And what I mean by that is we want to do a little bit of exploring beforehand, again, in that validation process that we talked about in the beginning. And if you haven't went through that, here's another little reminder, brandcreators.com. There's a brand growth validation checklist there, and that'll help you identify where your market is. And if they're on Facebook, and if they are, you're going to be able to identify the communities and the groups and the TV shows they watch and the pages they follow and all of that stuff. That's going to help you when you target. And it is critical that you target the right people. Remember what I said earlier? If you're just targeting anyone, right? If you're just targeting anyone out there and you're like, hey, I've got this, iPod or iPad that I'm going to give away, and you just post it out to the world, it's not your market, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to find our market. We want to find the pond, and then we want to put the right lead magnet, the right bait in that pond to attract the right fish, right? That's what we're doing here. Okay. So again, option one is to run the Facebook ad to the offer, target by interest. You can, again, TV shows, pages. Now, if you already have a small list, you can then upload that list to Facebook, and you can use that as a lookalike audience now, or you can build a lookalike audience by doing that. And that is really, really powerful because now you're kind of jump starting and kind of getting a little bit of a head start by having that. Okay. Now, little pro tip here, and this kind of lends itself to what I just left off telling you about Facebook and lookalike audiences. Here's a little pro tip. After you start building your list, even if you have none of that other stuff, if all you have is the interest where you can then, you're going to kind of get close to who the market is, you're going to get close. Them putting their name and email address in is going to really validate if they are. But after you start building your list and you have about 500 or more emails, you want to take those emails and you want to upload those to Facebook, and you want to create that lookalike audience that we just talked about. And that's going to help you refine and really find the right people. Okay. So that's a little pro tip there, but it's an important one. That's a writer downer. Okay. All right. Now, option two, and this one here we've done and it's worked, but again, your market has to be here. You need to find Instagram accounts, and you need to start targeting them and doing some outreach to see if they are willing to post to their account. Now, I'm going to give you an example. And inside of the list build class that I talked about, we give you this example. All right. We did this completely just as a case study. We had no intention of building a sneaker brand, okay, or a sneakerhead brand. But I knew a little bit about the market. My son, who now is 21, but at the time was around 19, maybe 20. Now he was 18 or 19. Totally into the sneakerhead thing. He kind of is now, but not as much as he was, right? So I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and give this thing a shot. So we went out there, and our offer, our lead magnet was a pair of, I believe it was Kobe, whatever the number was, Kobe 7s or something, right? So it was a Kobe sneaker that was about $175. Okay. And so what we did is that was our lead magnet. We set it up in Giveaway Boost. We did all the stuff that I just kind of went over with you guys. And then we went out and we found Instagram pages that had some followers and some engagement. Okay. And so we found a page that had 1 million followers. Okay. And I reached out to them, myself personally. I reached out to them and I said, hey, I noticed that you got a page. You have 1 million followers. I love your content. Would you be interested in running an ad for us on your page, or, a sponsored post? And came right back to me within 24 hours and said, yeah, it's and he had a rate. It's $125 for a 24-hour post. I believe that's what it was. Okay. I think it was either that, and maybe it was $100 if you wanted it to be for only 24, and then after, if you wanted it for 125, it would stay up forever. Something like that. It was something weird like that, but I just took the more expensive because I'm like, yeah, I want it to stay up forever. So we did that. We gained over 1,500 emails from that one post. And I remember my son was watching the analytics inside of ConvertKit, and I was refreshing. And every time I would refresh, you'd have another 30 people, then another 30 or another 50. And it was just building, and he was just blown away. but that's how it works. And these people on Instagram, they're not used to going off platform, and it warns you to go off platform, or when you're going off platform, it says, hey, just want to let you know you're leaving Instagram. Be careful, And so we were directing them over to our website. We had made just a website just for this project. And then we were collecting emails, and we built that list, I believe it was over 15,000. But if you go through the training that I referred you guys to before, you'll see all these numbers. I got everything there. It's documented, and that's actually the workshop content that we cover. There was another account that we targeted that had 300,000 followers, and they only charged us $25. And we did 4 separate posts with them, spent $100, and we got another 1,000 emails. Right? So it really does work, but your market does have to be on that platform. So, the brand that I'm building inside of Brand Creators Academy, I'm doing this open case study inside of there for our community members. That wouldn't probably work on Instagram. It wouldn't. Okay. So I know that they're on Facebook. So you just got to know your market and where they're hanging out. One little side note here. If you are going to be looking at Instagram, make sure that you look at the engagement on the page or on, the feed, because that'll tell you a lot. So I was looking at like the 1 million followers, and when they would do a post within 24 hours, it would have like 15,000 or 20,000 likes or, like 500 comments. So I seen that it had a lot of activity, and same thing with the one that had 300,000. That one still had really good engagement, because if you don't do that, it might just be a bogus page. It might just be a page that someone built with fake followers and all of that stuff. So you want to make sure that you definitely look at that stuff beforehand. And, again, it's as simple as just DMing them on Instagram and seeing if it's the right fit and if they do offer that. So once again, to see that exact process that we did for that, I'll also outline everything that we talked about here today. Go to listbuildclass.com, listbuildclass.com. All right, so we covered a ton, and again, this is why you're going to want to go back and probably listen to this one and go through that free training, and make sure that you go to brandcreators.com and grab that checklist and go through that training if you haven't done so before you do any type of list building, because you want to make sure that you can. All right, so make sure that you do that. All right, so let's kind of finish up here. There's another way that you can build a list as well. Okay. Now, if you currently have products that you're selling on Amazon right now, or even on your own store, you can run a Facebook ad directly to an offer that will then give that person a discount. Okay. But here's the difference. I would not take the Facebook ad and drive them directly to the page where they can buy it. What you want to do is you want to say, hey, 30% off, limited offer, or limited time only, or limited quantities. You want to give some type of scarcity in the ad. But let's say you're offering 50% off, because that would be a killer offer, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to direct them to a landing page, like we talked about for the contest, very similar, with them to put their name and email address in exchange for the coupon code. And on the next page, guess what? They're going to get their coupon code. And then they're going to also have a direct link to the listing or to your store to buy the product. This is another feature also built into Giveaway Boost, okay? Because if we're doing anything like promoting or we want to drive Facebook ads, we want a way to collect the email addresses, okay? We want that. That's so important. Little pro tip here is you want to also drop a Facebook pixel on the landing page to create a custom audience in Facebook so you can use it later for other things. We have this built into Giveaway Boost. Once again, I know it sounds like I'm really honking my own horn here with Giveaway Boost, but whether you use Giveaway Boost or not, your landing page should be able to allow you to put a Facebook pixel on it. If you're using lead pages, I'm pretty sure they have a little area that you can drop this code into, and that's all you got to do. You just need that Facebook pixel code on or from your Facebook account, okay? But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you do that, because if you do, then you're going to be able to, number one, build another audience without them even opting in. So let's say you get 100 people to go over to your landing page, and let's say 50% of them, they give you their email address. That's a 50% conversion rate. That's really good, by the way. Well, there's 50 other people that didn't for some reason. Maybe they got busy, maybe their phone crashed, maybe whatever, right? Well, we now have still pixeled them in Facebook, and Facebook is going to start compiling these and start building this custom audience that I can run a Facebook ad to later. I can do retargeting, as we call that. Okay. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we do that. It is super, super important. And while you're driving paid traffic to a page, you want to be doing this. Or even if you're not, if you're just getting traffic to a page, every person that comes there is a person and a potential buyer and someone that could also share your stuff. So you want to be able to get in touch with those people on multiple ways. And this is a great way of doing it. All right. So recap really quickly, because we just covered a ton. All right. But I'm just going to give you these, like the 7 steps here. Number 1, lead magnet. You need to come up with that. Number 2, you need to decide on an email autoresponder. Number 3, you need to decide and build a capture page, one that is going to capture and really display the offer. All right. 4 is you need to create a thank you page. Okay. And then from there, in number 5 is going to be the follow-up. You need at least one message that's going to automatically go out to the person that raised their hand with their email address. And then number 6 is you want to create a Facebook page for your brand. And this way here, you're then able to turn on Facebook ads when you are ready. And you're also building another asset that will also potentially bring traffic over to your website. And then number 7 is you want to stay engaged with the email list. You want to send out a broadcast message that just gives them a little bit more of who you are and what you're doing and what type of resource that you are by you sending them over to your content or someone else's, just to be like a reporter in a sense, or someone that is going to be giving them useful information. And it doesn't have to be a long email, as I demonstrated here in that little brief one that I did when I was writing to Jim about the woodworkingmasters.com. All right. So was that a lot? Yes. But is it hard? No. Is it going to take a little bit of learning? Yes. Do I have free resources for you? Yes. I've given you all of those, and I will remind you of those right now. Brandcreators.com. That is where you'll need to start, because if you don't have the checklist done, if you haven't validated your market that you can even do this, you're going to want to do that first. Secondly, to follow up more on what we just covered, if you want more visual and an example of building this out, you can go to buildlistclass.com, buildlistclass.com. That is where we did a full training on that. And then the other option here is if you want help building your brand and have support along the way, well, Brand Creators Academy is where we are doing just that. We are documenting a live brand build. We're documenting the entire process from scratch. And we're also helping our community and others do the same, which is just awesome. Here's the deal though. Right now, currently, depending on when you're listening to this, enrollment is not open for Brand Creators Academy. We only open it a few times a year because we spend a lot of our time in there working with all of our members. All right. But if you're interested in joining us, well, if you've downloaded brandcreators.com, if you've went there and downloaded our checklist, well, you'll be notified when we open. If you have not yet did that and you just want to be notified when we open Brand Creators Academy, then just go to brandcreators.com and sign up there. Okay. Because once we open, we're only going to be opening enrollment for around 5 days. And then from there, we close it for at least 3 months. All right. So if you're at all interested, you're definitely going to want to do that. All right. So next up in the series is going to be how to make money from this effort that we just put in, this website, the email list. We're going to give you the long and the short term. So this way here, you can kind of put it all together. All right. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you and I am rooting for you, but you have to come on, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day. And I'll see you right back here on the next episode.